There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
It's a little different over here. You don't have nearly as many features with. Let's see. I don't have Allison House or. I got Radar. No, I got Radar Scope Pro. I just haven't logged into it. But I don't get any of this these watches, lightning, or storm reports, or any of this MD stuff without an Allison House subscription.
Is that only available for Apple?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Damon.
Bummer. I was saying, like, I like the desktop. I've seen some links, and you can actually do a desktop version, but I haven't seen it like that. So that's pretty impressive. I like that. They got to be coming out with for Google and Microsoft any day now, right? We'll have to go down the road and talk to them.
No, those guys you see seem to be pretty Apple nerds, because didn't they start with the Android, or no, the iPhone platform, right?
Yeah, they started with the Apple. It wasn't, but like maybe a year or two ago that they came out with Radar Scope for the Android. So, anyways, all right. Well, I've already kind of started this show, so I hit the live button not too long ago. So here we are now. Hey, episode number 60. Can you believe we've been doing this for 60 shows now? Brad, can you believe it? Do you remember show number 1? Jonathan, do you remember show number 1?
Sure.
We had Rick Smith on it. Look how far we've come now. 60 episodes. So this is just a quick podcast that we do. It's the show all about Oklahoma weather. We kind of talk about all sorts of things. We started talking a lot about the rain that we had yesterday and the day before that. I'm kind of glad and I'm kind of not glad that the rain came. You know, it's nice to get rain during the month of July, but I think maybe this rain's going to hold off on at least keep the 100-degree temperatures gone until probably early next week. What do y'all think? You think that this rain was enough to keep us from hitting 100 for a couple days? Who wants to chime in first? Who wants to be brave? Come on, someone. No one wants to chime. No one has an opinion about what this rain's going to do.
No. You know, it's like, is it going to be 99 or is it going to be 100?
You know what? I just went straight 100. No one's going to be able to tell the difference between 99 and 100. What do you think, Shelby?
It's so psychological. I mean, putting 100 on there instead of 99. Everyone thinks it's so much hotter.
It is. You know, it's funny you say that because I used to spend so much time on like day number 5 trying to figure out if we'd be at 99 or 100, and I just said, you know what? I can't tell the difference. No one can tell the difference between 99 or 100. But I think it's coming. Anyone have our numbers nearby? What was who was the first? Who had the earliest 100-degree prediction for this year?
I went July 21st.
July 21st?
It is 22nd, so
yeah. So and we're playing like the Price is Right. So
I'm the only one that's still in the game right now for Price is Right, right?
I had August 1st, which Shelby told me is not going to happen because they have their fair. What's going on August 1st?
The Velma picnic.
The Velma picnic. Condor, what did you have?
August 3rd.
August 3rd. Okay.
I said August 3rd.
That's right.
I told you guys the reason I did it. Because I said everything's a month behind, and our average first is July 9th. I think I did August 3rd, but honestly, it's my grandpa's birthday. That's why I picked it.
Oh, Grandpa Huey? Is this Grandpa Huey?
Hugh, yeah. They broke the mold with Grandpa Hugh. Combat veteran, World War II, retired, 25 years, Army Guard, fat in the bowel of the bulge. Had some good stories. Maybe we save that for later.
I bet he did. Hey, I came across this stat right here that actually I want to pop up here. This is kind of sad, but certainly worth talking about. We've had a number of lightning fatalities, 22 lightning deaths so far this year. I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share, and this will actually kind of tell you where everyone was. Can you all read this right here? You know, read it clearly?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Let me.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So, first lightning death of the year happened in Anderson Creek, North Carolina. Look at this. Under tree. Walking dogs under the tree. The same day, there was another lightning death in Cary, North Carolina, waiting for a friend. They were in a parking lot. Number 3, on a horse, rounding up cattle. That's got to be a tough one right there. And you can kind of read all of these right here. How about this one? Looks like 2 people died covering chickens outside home near a tree. You can see some camping here in Aspen, Colorado. Probably the one that stood out the most, though, and Brad, you'll probably get this one, Mount Yale. Mount Yale, which this actually happened just a couple days ago. Mount Yale's a 14er. Which
I looked into this. This is a pretty sad story. It was a newlywed couple actually climbing the 14er just a few days after they were married, and the bride was struck and killed.
Gosh, and I mean, in these, you're basically way above the tree line. There's no protection at all unless you try to crouch down low underneath some of these boulders. I've never been up on Mount Yale, so I don't know how big the boulders are, but I remember one time being on Long's Peak, and I was in the boulder field when a lightning storm came up, and basically we just kind of crouched underneath some of these boulders. But there was a good size hole underneath some of these boulders where I felt okay.
I will tell you. Just after being in Colorado a number of years, of course, Colorado and Florida, I think they kind of tag team on which state has more lightning fatalities. But a number of the lightning fatalities are on the mountain peaks, and they have found people's bodies inside those little alcoves or caves up above the tree line, because what happens, there is so much metal in the rocks up there that the rocks are a good conductor of the electricity. So if you're in the caves, that's not a safe place.
Yeah, well, that's
next time.
I appreciate that one. Definitely. How about this? Here's a sad one right here. A 12-year-old on the beach playing volleyball. 2 people in Aspen, Colorado, in their tent camping. The most recent one, just this past Saturday, under a tree, checking on the home, but right now 3 fatalities in Colorado, 3 in Alabama, 3 down in Florida. I mean, this is, but you read some of these, and of course, it's, Monday morning quarterback, but obviously, under a tree, working on a roof, camping.
I was in a tent one day, sleeping on the ground, but I was on about a 6 or 7 inch air mattress. Inflatable air mattress. I was laying on it. Thunderstorm came up. I didn't know. Obviously, the tent's not going to give you enough shelter, but would that air mattress keep you safe? What do you guys think?
I can't imagine it would. I mean, it might reduce the degree of heat that you feel by a couple degrees, but I still think you're still gonna have some pretty intense electricity nearby. That would be my opinion. What do you think?
I got in the car. I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm getting in a car because the car's safe. Everybody's like, oh, it's the rubber tires, but of course it's not the rubber. It's the Faraday law.
You want to explain that a little bit for those of us that are probably wondering?
Yeah. You guys. Of course, it always freaks me out that you can be inside a metal cage and be completely safe if there's lightning. Of course, if you have your car window rolled down, lightning's coming in through the car window, but the principle of lightning is it travels, spreads across the surface, and exits into the ground and won't penetrate that surface. I don't think a tent, though, I don't know if a tent's going to do it or not. I don't think that would be a safe place. But a metal body, I mean.
Yeah. I believe it. But yeah, I mean, so just looking at these right here, I mean, a lot of these really could have been probably prevented. And it's 22 so far, and really that's 22 lightning deaths in the last 3 months. So it's I came across this, thought I would share it. Another thing that's really gaining traction right now, across the weather world, and really has big implications on Oklahoma, is El Nino. Certainly the talk of El Nino coming in here, and now we're doing a lot of comparisons to the upcoming El Nino, which is projected to be pretty strong, and even some people saying it could be record strength to the El Nino of 1997, 1998. I went back last night, and actually I was getting ready to do a weather blog on this one, and didn't quite have enough time. It was already after midnight. But a lot of times people think that El Nino automatically means cold and snowy for Oklahoma, and it doesn't always lead to snowy. It could lead to wet. But certainly this wet weather pattern, it looks like it's going to stick around at least for the next couple months or so. Now, back in 97, 98, it was not wet every single month. As a matter of fact, there were a couple months where it was quite dry, and then it would become quite wet and then quite dry. But what are y'all's thoughts on El Nino in the next couple months? You think it's going to be the big time story for the winter for us? I'll start with Shelby first.
Of course, put me on the spot. No, I don't really know. I mean, I think we always see such different results. But I mean, just like everything with weather, it's never a definite. And I hate thinking that it's going to be something big, because then everybody at home is like, oh, something big is coming, and that means something different to everybody, and so then you're always wrong.
That's true. That's a good point. And obviously, just one little change in El Nino can really play a pretty big role across the United States. A couple of years ago we had La Nina, but then we were talking about how I want to say it was the Northern Pacific Oscillation or one of the oscillations really kind of got going, that it kind of canceled out La Nina for that year. So every year can be different. Jonathan, what do you think about the El Nino coming up? Do you think it's projected to be a big thing for us?
Well, I remember, when I first moved to Oklahoma, doing a lot of research about El Nino in Oklahoma, and I'm trying to find the article. There was a really good article that was published and some research that was done that talked about El Nino in Oklahoma, and they found that there was a strong bias on weak El Ninos, a strong bias on strong El Ninos, but when you had a moderate El Nino, that's where it was rogue. It could have done anything. You could have a moderate El Nino, it could have done the opposite. It could have been, hot and dry. So it seemed like from what I remember, and I can't find the article right now, that you need a really strong El Nino to have a bias. And of course, what's your wild card? What's the Arctic Oscillation doing? I do know one thing that when I saw, they said, we've been watching El Nino, it's been building, and obviously it doesn't have a huge impact in the summer, it's a fall-winter pattern. My first thing I thought yesterday, what I was looking at, is what kind of fall tornado season will Oklahoma have with a strong El Nino? And I just went back to the last 30 years, and the only year that really stuck out was coming out of a strong El Nino. It was at the end of '98. It wasn't during '97, but it was the fall of '98 as we were coming out of the El Nino. It was a record tornadoes across Oklahoma. It was in like 20 in October or something like that. Again, I have to look it up, but it was like record-breaking, epic. So I guess that's the one thing we need to look for, So I don't know. That's another question. Here we are sitting going into August. We had the fourth busiest tornado season or fourth busiest May for tornadoes in Oklahoma.
It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those.
So wettest month ever in history. So what is the fall tornado season going to bring? Because we had that little secondary season, that little 2-week deal.
Yeah, and a lot of times, really El Nino is most pronounced, fall, winter, early spring. But does this give us another November, severe weather season? November not really known for tornadoes, but could it push at least that tornado season a little bit later? Brad, what do you think?
I think we're going to have a more active rest of the year, you guys, because number one, we have all of the extra water vapor in the air. We're going to be dealing with more moisture. That's going to give us clearly more storms. I think that the cold air is certainly going to pour into the northern plains. Our higher levels of humidity are going to keep it a little warmer around here a little bit longer. That could easily make the cold fronts a little bit more pronounced this fall, possibly leading to some stronger storms in late September through October. I did a little digging with the El Nino and looked at the strong years. I think there were 8 years in history that we had a really strong El Nino. It looked like there were on average, about 5 out of 8 of those had a wetter bias towards them, and it wasn't significantly wetter. So, to me, I don't necessarily see El Nino affecting Oklahoma as much, just based on some of the previous years. But I think what will be our stronger prevailing pattern will be the fact of just how wet it's been and the higher level of moisture we're going to be dealing with throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's a good point, and especially, El Nino does not know, where December ends and January begins, or where January ends or February begins. And so when you go back and look at stats, and of course, we do monthly stats here. So we were saying earlier, that we had January, which, January of 98, I believe, was fairly wet, and then February of 98 was very dry. However, if you average those 2 months together, it was actually still fairly wet. So, this is one of those, we've been waiting for El Nino for a very long time, and of course, a lot of people might be a little confused, what exactly is El Nino? It's the warming of the Pacific Ocean waters in a certain zone right along the equator, and then north and south of the equator, and actually what happens is that warming will displace the jet stream, and we will actually see a branch of it basically become pretty active right across, the southern interior of the United States. So Southern California, the Southern Rocky Mountains will get storms. From a skiing standpoint, and I already booked this trip, but we actually booked a trip to Big Sky, Montana, which the Northern Rockies during an El Nino year traditionally do not see as much snow as the Southern Rockies. So there's a part of me that wishes I could probably go back and cancel that Big Sky trip just for just make me feel a little bit better. Maybe go Telluride, Crested Butte, maybe even northern New Mexico. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But every year is different. So
what's the cancellation? How big of a window do you have?
Oh, we could probably cancel without penalties.
Cancel a week out and move it somewhere else.
Yeah, since it's only July, we got a discount on early booking, but we'll find out. We'll see. We will see. What other weather happenings have you all heard about? Anything you want to share? Crickets?
Well, I'll say, so are we still saying it'll hit 100, or is it not going to hit 100?
I still think it's going to hit 100. The sun angle this time of the year can dry out that top layer of soil pretty quickly. I think right now what we're doing is it's a race between when the soil can dry out and when our next front can come in. I know we're kind of racing against, there's a front next Wednesday, I think, projected off from the Euro model that's supposed to come in here. So if we're going to hit 100, I'm gonna say it's gonna happen sometime early next week, Sunday, Monday, before that front comes in.
Are you changing your dates here now?
Wait, what dates am I looking at here? No. What is August? For August 1st, next Saturday? No, I gotta stick to my original. See, I was that guy in college that when I'm doing an exam, I would change my answers after I would. I've already written something down.
Yeah, that screwed me up so bad because I sat behind you actually in the.
I know, yeah. You sat behind me.
Doing?
Yeah, it's like, why does it keep erasing? Yeah.
Is that not right?
I know. It's like, damn it! I think you had it right the first time. Why'd you just erase it and make it wrong? So nope. I'm gonna go with my initial instincts. I'm gonna stick to it.
I'll say this: if we don't do it by August 3rd, we don't do it. Period.
Okay.
We slip into northwest flow, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Average last 100-degree high is August 21st.
August 21st. Average last.
The latest is September 30th.
There's been a couple areas that have hit 100 this year, but not as many. Who's leading Oklahoma right now with most 100-degree days?
Buffalo was 2 days ago.
Yeah, I think you're right, Shelby. I think you are right. Buffalo. Here we go. Buffalo and Freedom are both sitting at 9 right now. So 9 100-degree days.
And then Buffalo got 5 inches of rain Monday night.
I think they did. Let me do a screen share here. If we look at rain so far this okay, who's where's let's see here, Brad. What'd you say? Tishmingo was the wettest place in the state?
Yeah, as of a week ago, I couldn't find another spot in all of the United States that had more rain than Tishomingo.
You know, you look at, and it's amazing because you actually look at this right here. Boise City, Kenton, Guyman, 12 inches. Doesn't sound like a whole lot of rain. Anyone remember off the top of their head what their average yearly rainfall is out in that part of the
13.
Yeah, I want to say it wasn't much more than where we are right now. So, you know, a lot of these places could go dry for the rest of the year and still have above average rainfall. Central Oklahoma, 49.8 inches down near Tishomingo.
You're looking at what, 4-month totals? That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot. And I just started. You know, the soil was just starting to dry out earlier this week. And I saw that story that Shelby did with the soil moisture that we had on the 5 o'clock news. But I'm telling you that the moisture is really going to drive our temperatures this year. So we'll find out. You know, I still think we're going to hit 100. I think it's still going to happen. It has to happen, right? Because when was the last time we didn't hit 100 degrees?
2004. 2004.
Was that an El Nino year? Anyone know off the top of their head? I don't know.
It wasn't a strong El Nino. If it was, that last time it was strong wasn't that? Well, wait a minute. I don't remember that.
Let's see here, El Nino year. So let's see here. If we look, 2004. 2004 was a neutral trending into La Nina, actually. Believe it or not. Wait. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was. No, I'm sorry. It was trending in towards a weak El Nino. So yeah, there you go. What else do y'all want to add? Anything you want to talk about?
Got my daughter. My daughter's coming back next Friday. I tried to get her a gift, and I thought, what could she want? So I got her a drone.
You did not.
That's what my 4-year-old niece asked for. She didn't get it.
Did you really get her a drone?
Yeah, I joined in the. It's not a really expensive one. It's a quadcopter, but it's got the camera on it. Haven't got it yet. It comes. So I thought, you know, when she comes to me and she wants, Daddy, hey, let's play, and she brings Barbies or something, and it's like, okay, I'll play at the Barbie swimming pool. But this, see, we can do this together. I'll have to learn to share.
Now, you know, she's gonna modify it. She's gonna attach the Barbies to the drone.
That would be fun. Yeah. We'll probably lose it the first time we go out, like Shelby's brother did. But
was that ever recovered?
No.
No.
It's a sweating pond.
Oh, so I guess you all need a pretty bad drought to drain it and then try to dig it up, huh?
No, the drone can just be lost. The pond has to be full.
Oh no! There's actually Jonathan showed me this one this one drone that I'm totally gonna get next year. It's called a Lily, where basically you have a puck in your hand and it follows you, and it can film you. Have you all seen this? The Lily, Brad, look it up. You may actually
so
take
manly. The Lily.
Lily Camera.
Lily
Camera. It's a startup company. I think they sell now for $500. You can get them for $1,000, and it's all GPS driven. And if you hold it in your hand and you throw it up in the air, and it follows you for about 15 minutes, and you control it with a wristband. Go to YouTube and just Google Lilycam.
It looks like my robot vacuum cleaner.
Huh.
What's that?
It looks like my robot vacuum.
Oh, you have the Roomba? Is that what it is?
It follows you. So imagine you're a whitewater kayaker, right?
Yeah.
You can tell it to follow ahead, follow behind, follow overhead, and it locks onto you. They're waterproof. You can throw it in the water, and it'll take right off. Now, I wish I had the cash flow right now to buy one. That would be awesome.
The ultimate selfie.
I really want one, actually. Because you know what? When I go skiing, a lot of times I have the camera mounted to my helmet, but I'm always taking pictures. No one's ever taken pictures of me skiing.
You got it going down the mountain with you.
Yeah, no, I have
to
hold the pole out, out in front of me, attach it. So I'm totally gonna get this. Gonna get this. So.
The drone technology is exploding right now. There's stuff that they're doing with drones that they couldn't do a year ago when it comes to the motors and the weight. A friend of mine built a drone from scratch, and when he told me 5 years ago, he goes, "I'm gonna film a tornado with a drone." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, whatever." And he's gonna do it, and it's cool. He brought it over to my house, 3 weeks ago, and that was the coolest thing. He has a first-person perspective goggles, so he's got a gimbal, right? So just like on Sky 5, not the same quality, but as he's flying and the drone banks, the camera stays stationary. So the drone does this and the camera doesn't move, okay? And then he has first-person perspective goggles. So he has two cameras, one that shows where he's flying. In the goggles, it tells him his heading, his altitude, and how much battery he has. It's unreal. This guy, he built it. He programmed it. If he has a flyaway, this drone, I mean, can do, what, 40 miles an hour, 30, 40 miles an hour. It can fly 2 miles away. If he gets a flyaway, it automatically comes back and lands right where where it took off. How cool is that?
That's
Then
pretty
he
cool.
built it. He built it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
Did you all see the drone video of the McPherson tornado in Kansas last week? Where that's the same one where basically, like this tornado just kind of out in the middle of this cornfield, and people took pictures of it flying. Did you all see the drone video though, where it just kind of pops out of the cornfield and you just see this beautiful tornado out in rural land? So that was nice.
No, and more of that is the only reason why not everybody is doing this is you with $1,000 drone, you get 20 minutes flying time. You can capture what you're doing in 20 minutes, you're done.
That's all going to change.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
the batteries, the props. There's guys that can build drones that can fly longer than that. I'm not kidding. In a year, you will have a drone that can fly for an hour. Over in Japan, they built a drone that it can fly for 15 hours, and it's a little drone, and it's 15 hours.
15 hours, wow. I wonder how long it takes to charge that thing. I mean, does it take...
It's solar hydrogen based.
That's pretty fascinating. Technology. And then, you know what, about a decade from now, we'll be talking about the next big thing. And we'll be saying, remember when we used to talk about drones and how fascinated we were with drones? And there'll be something new out. So I'll probably get one. I think I'm going to get that Lily Cam. Hopefully it comes out before the ski season's over so I can use it. So anything else you all want to add? No? Shelby, how's the wedding planning?
It's coming. Everything
Coming?
takes a really long time.
It does.
Creative people. I think I've decided that. Us math people have hard deadlines and we're exact, and wedding planning people aren't that way.
What's the countdown to the big day?
I think we're at about 70 days.
70 days.
70s. You know, look, y'all may laugh at me. Gary Lezak, Kansas City. You guys know Gary?
Yeah.
The former Gary England intern. And he has a long-term forecast he's been working on. I see Jonathan. And we will go into whether we believe it or we don't, but I'm excited because Wedding Week is on there, and it looks good.
Yeah.
You know what? People call on the phone all the time, and they say, I have an event November 3rd.
Yep.
What's the forecast going to be? You know what I do? I give them a forecast. I tell them exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
How much of that's climatology? You just whip out the numbers. The average.
I just come up with something, right? Just got numbers.
Yeah.
67, 30% chance of a shower. Winds out of the north at 15.
Oh man, those are, you know what? For anyone that is watching that likes to call us, you know, we enjoy those and we try our best, but weather forecasting gets pretty difficult after day 5, day 7. So
yeah.
If you call us asking for day number, or the third, 3 months from now. I once got a Southern Hemisphere. Someone asked me what the weather was going to be like in Australia for a wedding 3 months from now.
Oh.
That was a tough one.
Under pain. I mean, I get it. We just want to hear something to make us feel better. Want to see something on that real long range outlook that looks good. Yeah, that's what I'll be obsessing over.
Yeah, and everything's gonna look like a high pressure ridge to you coming up to your wedding, right? It's it's the same thing when you go skiing, right, Brad and Jonathan? Right, before you go skiing, everything looks like a big snowstorm that's gonna dump 2 feet of snow on the mountains.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be like 2 or 3 inches, if even that. Yeah. So, all right. Well, just wanted to touch base, see what you guys are doing. This is really one of the only times we ever get to sit down and talk. So. Just want to make sure everyone's doing okay. Brad, everything's going well in your world?
I think so. It's getting kind of dark here. I bet if you go back to the beginning of this video, my lighting is decreased, so it looks like the rain, getting some rain coming in here. I haven't heard any thunder yet, but yeah, just a couple miles away.
Yeah, you got a nice little
So,
you got some orange on the radar.
orange.
Looks like it's raining at Jonathan's house right now. You got a little bit of lightning in that?
Yeah.
Jonathan, you're getting some rain in your house, I bet.
Like maybe I'm a mile off.
Oh.
I'm really bummed. There's some really good rain in downtown Piedmont, but I'm just a couple miles south.
Oh. Well,
Missing out.
it was good while it lasted. We'll go dry for about a week, so. All right. Good catching up with you all.